I thought my best years were behind me. At 72, my knees creaked like old floorboards, and the four walls of my living room had become both my sanctuary and my prison. The outdoors. That was for the young folks with their hiking boots and water bottles. Not for an old-timer like me who needed help getting out of his favorite armchair. That was 3 years ago. Before my doctor looked me in the eye and said words that changed everything. "Joe, you're not just getting older. You're getting less well." That hit me hard. Really hard. I'd spent 40 years working construction, raising 3 kids, and suddenly I was just fading away. But here's the thing about us humans, sometimes we need to hit rock bottom before we can look up and see the sky again. My wake-up call came on a Tuesday. My granddaughter Emma had invited me fishing, something I used to love. I told her I couldn't go. Too tired. Too sore. Too old. The disappointment in her eyes. Well, that's something no grandparent wants to see. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the things I used to do. Fishing at dawn. Camping under stars so bright they seemed to sing. Walking forest trails where the only sound was pine needles crunching underfoot. Realized I wasn't just mourning my youth. I was mourning my connection to the natural world. The thing is, nature had always been my therapy. Long before nature therapy became a buzzword, I knew that a bad day could be cured by the smell of rain on hot asphalt or the sight of geese flying south for winter. So I made a decision right then. If I was going down, I was going down outside, under the open sky, not staring at my living room ceiling. Now, I'm not going to tell you I jumped up the next morning and hiked 5 miles. That's not how real change works, especially not when you're a senior with arthritis in both knees and a back that likes to remind you of every roofing job you ever did. I started small. Embarrassingly small. Day 1 was just sitting on my front porch for 15 minutes. That's it. Just sitting there feeling the breeze, listening to the neighborhood. Birds arguing over territory. Kids riding bikes. The distant hum of lawnmowers. Day 2, I shuffled down to the end of my driveway. Day 3, I made it to the corner of my block. Each day a little further. Each day noticing a little more. The interesting thing was what happened inside me. My mood began to lift. Not dramatically, I wasn't suddenly dancing down the street. But that heavy blanket of gloom that had settled over me began to feel a little lighter. After 2 weeks of this, my daughter Jane called. She said, "Dad, there's something different in your voice," and she was right. Something was changing just by getting outside for those few minutes each day. The real turning point came when I stumbled across a flyer at the community center. Silver Strider's Nature Walks for Seniors. I almost didn't go. The thought of being the old guy who couldn't keep up kept me awake the night before. But I went. And you know what? I was the old guy who couldn't keep up. But here's the surprise: nobody cared. The group leader, Sarah, a retired physical therapist with energy that would put a teenager to shame, just smiled and said, "We go at the pace of the slowest walker." That's our only rule. That first walk was in a local park I'd driven past 100 times but never visited. Just a mile of flat trail around a small lake. For some of those folks, it might have been nothing. For me, it was Everest. But I made it. Red-faced and puffing, but I made it. And something magical happened on that walk. I met Harold, 83 years old, who'd had 2 hip replacements but still walked every single day. I met Louise, 76, who started walking after her husband died and said it saved her from drowning in grief. I met George, only 65 but recovering from a stroke, who counted birds as he walked. These people became my tribe. My outdoor families. They understood what it meant to move in an aging body. They knew the courage it takes to step outside when your balance isn't what it used to be. They celebrated small victories, making it up a small hill, walking an extra quarter mile, spotting a rare bird. In their company, I wasn't old Joe who used to build houses. I was just Joe, who noticed how the light filtered through oak leaves and who always brought extra granola bars to share. Now, I'm a practical man. I've always believed in what I can see, touch, and measure. So when I started feeling better, I got curious. Was it just in my head? Or was something real happening? Turns out there's solid science behind what I was experiencing. My doctor explained it to me, and I've done my own reading since then. They call it nature therapy or sometimes ecotherapy, and it's backed by some serious research. Being in nature, even just sitting in a park, lowers your blood pressure. It reduces stress hormones like cortisol. It improves your immune system function. For us seniors, regular nature exposure can improve cognitive function and might even slow memory loss. One study I read found that hospital patients who could see trees from their window recovered faster than those looking at a brick wall. Another showed that just 20 minutes in nature significantly reduces stress hormone levels. But here's what really got my attention. Research shows that elderly people with access to green spaces live longer. Not just better, longer. I wasn't imagining my improvements. The spring in my step, the better sleep, the improved mood, these weren't just psychological effects. Nature was literally healing my body. And the best part, it's free. No prescriptions. No copays. No waiting rooms. Just step outside and let the greatest pharmacy on earth do its work. Now, I want to be honest with you. This hasn't been a straight line to perfect health. I still have bad days. Days when my knees scream at me. Days when the weather keeps me inside. Days when I just don't have the energy. And that's okay. That's life in an aging body. The difference now is that I don't let those days define me or stop me. I've learned to adapt. On good days, I might walk 2 miles with the silver striders, and on bad days, I might just sit on a bench in the park and feed the squirrels. Both are valuable. Both connect me to the natural world. I've discovered tools that help. Trekking poles have become my best friends. They take pressure off my knees and help with balance on uneven terrain. A good cushion means I can sit on a rock or log without regretting it later. A lightweight folding chair in my backpack means I can rest whenever I need to. I've also learned to match my activities to my abilities. Birding is perfect on days when walking is difficult. I can sit quietly with binoculars and still feel immersed in nature. Fishing gets me outdoors without demanding much physically. Even just driving to a scenic overlook and sitting in my car with the windows down counts as nature therapy in my book. The point isn't to push until it hurts. The point is connection. Finding ways to be part of the natural world, whatever your limitations. One of the most beautiful discoveries on this journey has been reconnecting with the rhythm of seasons. When you spend most of your time indoors, one day blends into the next. The calendar changes, but your experience doesn't. Getting outside regularly has put me back in touch with nature's clock. I've watched spring unfold leaf by leaf. I've felt summer heat build and break. I've shuffled through autumn leaves and stood breathless watching winter's first snow. Each season offers its own medicine. Spring brings hope and renewal. Watching things come back to life reminds me that nothing, not even winter, lasts forever. Summer offers abundance and warmth that soaks into old bones. Fall teaches us about letting go with grace and beauty. And winter shows us the quiet power of rest and patience. Now I plan my outdoor activities with the seasons. Spring is for watching wildflowers emerge and birds return. Summer mornings and evenings are perfect for longer walks and picnics. Fall brings mushroom hunting and the joy of crunching leaves. Even winter gets me outside, bundled up for short walks in the snow, or just sitting by my window with binoculars, watching juncos and chickadees at my feeder. There's something profoundly comforting about syncing your life with these ancient rhythms. It reminds you that you're part of something much bigger and older than yourself. Your troubles are temporary. The earth abides. Something I never expected was how my journey would affect others. Remember my granddaughter Emma, the one who wanted to take me fishing. Well, 3 months into my nature therapy experiment, I called her up and said, "How about that fishing trip? We didn't catch much that day." But watching her face when I showed up with my old tackle box, ready to go, that was worth more than any fish. Since then, outdoor activities have become our special thing. She's taught me about identifying native plants, something she's learning in school. I've taught her how to read weather patterns and find the best fishing spots. We've created memories that neither of us will forget. But it goes beyond family. Harold from my walking group told me that seeing me progress gave him courage to try harder. A neighbor started joining me for evening strolls. My doctor actually asks me to talk to other patients about my experience. I never set out to inspire anyone. I was just trying to save myself. But that's how life works sometimes. Your healing becomes a pathway for others. And that might be the most powerful medicine of all. As I've spent more time outdoors, I've come to see nature as not just a healer but a teacher. And at my age, I've had a lot of teachers. Nature teaches patience. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. Healing doesn't happen in a day. It teaches resilience. I've watched saplings bend almost to breaking in storms, then straighten again when the wind passes. I'm learning to do the same. It teaches presence. When you're watching a heron stalk fish or a butterfly land on a flower, you're not worrying about the past or future. You're right here, right now. Perhaps most importantly for us seniors, nature teaches us about mortality without fear. In the natural world, death isn't hidden away or denied. It's right there alongside life, part of the same cycle. The fallen log becomes home to new fungi and insects. Last year's leaves become this year's soil. Watching this cycle has changed how I think about my own limited time. I'm less afraid, less anxious about the end. I see myself as part of this great turning wheel, not separate from it. That doesn't mean I'm in a hurry to go. Far from it. I'm enjoying life more now than I have in years. But there's comfort in knowing that when my time comes, I'll be returning to a system that knows exactly what to do next. Nothing is wasted in nature. Nothing truly ends. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. That's great for Joe, but I live in a city, or I use a wheelchair, or I don't have transportation to get to parks. I hear you. Access to nature isn't equal, and that's a real problem. But I've learned that nature isn't just national parks and wilderness areas. Nature is wherever something is growing. It's the moss between sidewalk cracks. It's the spider building a web on your balcony. It's the moon rising over city buildings. Some of my most profound nature experiences have happened in tiny urban parks or even my own backyard. One morning, I spent an hour watching ants build a hill beside my garage. Their organization, their persistence, it was as impressive as any mountain vista. If mobility is an issue, there are increasingly more accessible options. Many parks now have paved paths suitable for wheelchairs and walkers. Some nature centers offer adaptive equipment like all-terrain wheelchairs. Virtual reality nature experiences are becoming available for those who truly can't get outside. And if transportation is the barrier, look into senior shuttle services. Many communities have programs specifically designed to help seniors access parks and natural areas. The point is, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. If you can't hike a mountain, walk around the block. If you can't walk around the block, sit in your yard. If you don't have a yard, put a plant on your windowsill and really observe it. Nature connection happens at any scale. I want to tell you about my friend Martha from the Silver Striders. Martha started walking with us at 88 years old. 88. When I asked her why she decided to start then, she just shrugged and said, "Well, I'm not getting any younger, am I? Martha's my hero." She reminds me that it's never, ever too late to begin. 3 years ago, I thought my best years were behind me. I was just waiting for the end, if I'm honest. Now, I wake up curious about what I'll see outside today. I have plans. I have a calendar with bird migrations marked on it. I'm saving up for a better pair of binoculars. I'm alive again. What? And yes, I still have an aging body with all its limitations. But now I see that as just part of my story, not the whole story. What? If you're sitting there feeling like your best days are over, I'm here to tell you they don't have to be. Nature doesn't care how old you are, how fast you move, or what you look like. She's just waiting for you to come back home. Your healing journey might look different from mine. It might involve different activities, different places. But the invitation is the same. Step outside. Breathe. Look around. You belong here. I started this journey for myself. To feel better. To reconnect with something I'd lost. I had no idea it would become so much more. A community, a purpose, a whole new chapter of life I never expected to write. Nature therapy isn't some complicated practice that requires special training or equipment. It's simply about being present in the natural world and letting it work its magic on you. If you're inspired to try this for yourself, start where you are. 5 minutes in your backyard is enough to begin. Notice the details. The way light plays through leaves. The different songs of birds. The feel of wind on your skin. Find others who share this interest. Senior centers, community gardens, local Audubon chapters, there are people out there who will welcome you, whatever your age or ability level. And be patient with yourself. Healing happens gradually, like the changing of seasons. Remember what I said at the beginning. I thought my best years were behind me. Now I know better. My best years are happening right now, under the open sky, with dirt under my fingernails and wonder in my heart. Nature is waiting for you too. She's always been waiting. All you have to do is open the door and step outside. This is Grandpa Joe signing off from my favorite park bench. See you on the trail.